This is Marcy White at Copley Acupuncture. In today's video, I would like to discuss using acupuncture post-transfer when you're having an IVF cycle. So for those of you that have undergone IVF, you're very familiar with the whole process. And for those that are not familiar, I will try to keep this brief. But basically with an IVF cycle, it's in vitro fertilization. It's considered an assisted reproductive therapy, meaning that there are interventions that are being done and you're not trying naturally on your own. And so typically what you'll do is you will stimulate the ovaries with medications. Then you go in for a procedure where eggs are removed from the follicles. They try to get a number of eggs, and then those are fertilized and watched for any number of days if you're doing what's called a fresh transfer. So that means that you take the eggs out, fertilize them, and then watch them anywhere from 3 to 5 days, and then they are transferred back in as an embryo. If you're doing what's called a frozen transfer, you will go through the same process of fertilization, but instead sometimes those are sent for genetic testing, so they're frozen, the embryos, and then genetically tested, and the ones that test well are kept frozen until you are ready to do the transfer at a later date. So there have been some very well-researched acupuncture treatments done around the time of the transfer that have enhanced and improved the outcomes, not only of implantation, but of live birth rates. So one of the first protocols is called the Paulus protocol. It was done in 2002 in Germany. And in this protocol, they did acupuncture 20 minutes before the transfer and 20 minutes after the transfer. You can look up this study online if you're interested for more details, but basically this was a fresh transfer. And what they saw in the outcomes was with the group that did not receive acupuncture, they had a 26% implantation rate, and the acupuncture group had a 42% implantation rate, which statistically is very significant. So the study has been done over and over. It has very good results that are very consistent, but as you can imagine, it's not very realistic to have this done 20 minutes before and after, unless there's a clinic that you're going to that does this on site. We do have one in Boston. And in some parts of the country and other countries, acupuncturists are allowed to go to the clinics and do the 20 minutes before and 20 minutes after. Now, if the 20 minutes is not doable, you can do this treatment up to 2 hours after you've had your transfer. This is the Paulus protocol, but once the 2-hour mark has been reached, you have a different protocol that you may want to consider, and this is called the DAO protocol, D-A-O. This can be done between 2 hours and 48 hours after your transfer. It's specifically best for women that are over 40 and have been considered what are called poor responders in previous IVF cycles. It's not a great protocol if this is your first IVF cycle, you're under the age of 35, or you have endometriosis or PCOS, but if you are older, you have done IVF before without success, and maybe didn't have a good response with the ovarian stimulation, then the DAO protocol is a very good one to consider. So if you are looking into doing this in your local area, if you can find an acupuncturist that's familiar with these protocols, I highly recommend doing this. It can really improve fertility outcomes significantly. So if you have any questions, please contact me, and thank you for watching.